One minute I'm standing up and excited, and the next moment I'm on the floor. Literally on the fucking floor. As I'm on this floor, I'm thinking, hold on. A second ago I was lit, I was hyped, I was so excited to go to gym. And somehow, because of my excitement, because of my expression of my excitement, I'm on the floor. How has this happened? What the fuck is a righteous glory? If you've seen the channel name before, then you already know who I am. Growing up, I was a very non-confrontational type of kid. I didn't like problems, I didn't like conflict, I didn't like fighting, I didn't like any of that. I wanted to stay as far away from conflict and confrontation as humanly possible. Overall, I was pretty well behaved and didn't get into much trouble in school. And I was extremely timid, like really fucking timid. Like the type of guy that wouldn't look you in the eye when we were having a serious conversation. Honestly, now looking back and reflecting on my middle school years, I had zero respect. I was treated okay because of the fact that I was a nice kid. I was a good person. At least I thought I was a good person. I guess you can say that I wasn't exactly the most popular guy when it came to the ladies. Especially because around this time is when everyone starts going through puberty and relationships start becoming a big thing and like a main focus for teenagers. Or at least that's how it happened in middle school. When people was like 12, 13, that's when people really started like developing feelings for each other and getting in relationships. I watched all this shit go down, but I watched all this shit go down from the sidelines because I was not really sought after at all. Girls didn't exactly flock to me because of how I carried myself, and those are a lot of stories in themselves that I can tell in the future. I remember this one time in particular when I was younger, and like I think I was in 7th grade as well. There was this one girl that I had the fattest crush on that was just overall really attracted to me, and she was like the head of this really popular group of girls in my middle school. I remember one time she told me personally, like when we were sitting around and talking, she said that one time her and her friends sat around and thought about who they would marry hypothetically if they could only pick someone from our class. And she said it would either be you or this one other kid that I would refer to as Zuko. My confidence went through the roof because of the fact that I felt like, okay, they like me. Like girls actually like me. I'm attractive. But what I didn't realize is that I was just a safe option. The thing is, me and Zuko were on two opposite ends of the spectrum. I was the really timid, shy, geeky, nerdy, not really super smart kid. And he was the popular, rebellious, bad boy, tough guy. Pretty much they would marry someone like me because of what I can provide in terms of stability and my niceness and my, you know, lack of ability to push back on anything. But they would cheat with this guy named Zuko because of how fucking rebellious and dreamy and all these other things that he was. They didn't necessarily get wet down there when they looked at me. But anyway, that was a side tangent. This story is really about how I got so angry one day that I punched my friend on the side of his jaw. Well, it was more like the side of his chin, but we'll talk more about that later. And I remember feeling bad about it afterwards and crying. Yes, I cried after punching somebody in the face. Like, not getting punched, not even getting fucking beat up or anything. I punched somebody and I cried. That's how fucking sad I was as a child. It doesn't compute, the logic doesn't make sense, but I just was a nice person at the time. Basically, the way it went down was, I remember leaving my ELA class and I was just so hyped. Like I had an unbearable amount of energy. I was really excited about the fact that we were going to gym class, which really makes no sense in hindsight, especially because I fucking sucked at every sport when I was younger. And overall, I'm not really an excitable person, but I'm just gonna assume it was the hormones really talking. I assume that, okay, if I go over to my friend and I'm hyped, he gonna get hyped too, because if I'm lit, you better be lit. Like you my mans, you gonna get lit too. That's how friends work, right? I'm like, yo, bro, we about to go to the gym, it's lit, I'm about to shoot up hoops, it's gonna be all bricks though, but I'm gonna shoot and I'm gonna try, because that's who I am. Now thinking about it, personality wise, he didn't remind me of Joker, but if you threw on some glasses and a Shujin uniform, then he would definitely look like Joker. So I'm just gonna refer to him as Joker in this video. Anyway, he looks at me, he looks at his girlfriend, and he looks back at me and gives me this little smug, cocky, little condescending smile. And randomly, for some odd reason, one minute I'm standing up and excited, and the next moment I'm on the floor. Literally on the fucking floor. So pretty much what happened is this nigga took me down to the ground to act tough in front of his girlfriend. As I'm on this floor, I'm thinking, hold on. A second ago, I was lit, I was hyped, I was so excited to go to gym. And somehow, because of my excitement, because of my expression of my excitement, I'm on the floor. How has this happened? So the thing is, he takes me down to the floor, but he doesn't take me all the way down to the floor, almost as a way to show restraint and treat me like a bitch. Halfway down, as I'm going to the floor, he actually picks me back up, and he pats me on the back like I'm his son. One of the easiest ways to trigger me, especially when I was a kid, was trying to little bro me. When you have this thing of like you trying to little bro or treat me like I'm under you or I'm less than you, that was one way for me to break out of this nice, timid, like quiet character and become like this volatile and just aggressive person. That pat on the back was like the cherry on top to everything that just happened. Especially because now when I'm looking over at his girlfriend and her friend, they're giggling and laughing at me. Instinctively, I didn't even think about this, mind you. I didn't think, and I was one of the most overly cautious people you could ever find in your life. I remember hitting this spin move, like a 360, hit this whole ass spin move, turned out of his arm, looked him dead in his face, lined up my fist with his jaw, and I swung as hard as I could, bro. He moved back, so I didn't hit him clean. I knocked him in his chin, but it was with enough force to where he flew into the wall behind. And before I did that, everyone was laughing and joking around, but I promise you, the second I punched him in his shit, the whole hallway went silent. So now the radio is so now the radio is silent? No. Now the hallway is radio silent. His girlfriend is not laughing. His friend isn't laughing. All of a sudden, all I hear is,
yo, what's happening? What's going on? What the f? What's going on?
And I look down the block. I look down the hall and I see Zuko kind of like gangsta hopping down the fucking hallway to us. Like he's literally across the fucking hallway, but all he saw was me punch Joker in the face. So he's here in front of me, and the thing is, I was cool with Joker, but Joker and Zuko were even, I guess, closer because they hung out with each other outside of school, and they're like in their own little clique. And in a regular situation, the way I would assume Zuko would react is he would immediately just, you know, get it in with whoever hit his friend. But he knew the type of kid I was, so he was more confused than anything, and he didn't take immediate action. My friend is holding his jaw, I'm looking at my fist, and I just look like disappointed in myself. Before I could say anything, I just broke down and started crying. Now he's really confused, because imagine you see somebody get the lights knocked out of them, and then you see the person that punched them start crying. And that's what he was saying. He's like, yo,
Josh, why are you crying? Bro, you won. You won the fight. You fought him and you won. Why are you crying? He should be crying. He's holding his jaw.
It's funny because after the whole situation, after we cleared it up and after we was good again, he actually had the audacity to look me in the eye and say that my punch didn't really hurt that much. Even though he held his jaw as he said that shit, which is really fucking ironic to me. It's so crazy because now thinking about it, I was actually pretty jealous of Joker. Because the thing is, me and him started off in the 6th grade as friends. We were both kind of nerdy and unpopular, but he had a growth spurt really early. So he grew really tall, meaning because he was so tall, he was popular with the girls. And then he got involved with people like Zuko and all the other cool kids, so he became somewhat popular himself, leaving me kind of behind. And when he got a girlfriend for real, that's when I really kind of felt left out, because I'm just like, well, what the f? Like, we were supposed to be in this together, like on our whole nerdy, no girls, no bitches type shit, but then you want to go and get a bitch. So now I'm bitchless and I'm alone and bitchless. I remember around that time, my dad tried to teach me the importance of not running away from people when you felt like your back was against the wall. I didn't really understand what he was saying, because I'm just like, I mean, it seems like pretty logical to run away from people when they, you know, threaten you physically. Like, but what I didn't realize is that how you deal with confrontation is very important, especially when you get older. How you carry yourself and how you respond to people's disrespect of you is how people will treat you. People can only do what you allow them to do. And that's what I learned from that day. If I just laughed it off and let him pat me on the back and let him take me down to the floor, he wouldn't have had that level of respect for me. That whole condescending smug shit that he would pull at me every now and then completely stopped once I punched him in the face, because he learned his lesson. I'll never forget the look on his face of genuine shock and disbelief when I did that, because that was very out of character. But even then, as a timid, non-confrontational little boy, I knew that there's a level of self-respect that everyone has, or everyone should have. Being loved and being liked is nice, but people can love and like you and have zero respect for you because of the way you carry yourself. So have some self-respect and stand your ground when something is happening that you don't like and something that you don't appreciate. When people push your boundaries, make sure you push back. And not in a petty, disrespectful way, but make sure people respect who the f you are and what you stand for. Because at the end of the day, as weird as it is, the more you run, the more you'll only be chased. And the more problems you'll find yourself in the long term. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching if you made it this far, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care. Deuces.